atong guest karon di ay kay si DJ Kiezo.
So nganong siya man gi-guess karong butaga. Kinsa man ni siya nganong nakailaman mo ani niya?
He's also a Carolinian, tama ba?
Okay. So
And also, he was the winner of 2025 USC GADJA DJ spinoff and also a local rising DJ who has been DJing for 2 years in various events and bars. So could you please tell us more about your gigs and all?
maayong buntag nimo dia Kiezo.
Hello, good morning.
Maayong buntag.
Good morning.
Murag kailam siguro sing amahan siguro nimo. Imong amahan si Ayan ba dili?
Oh, yeah.
Sakto?
Oo.
Sakto ko si Ayan kanang nay sa iyang sound system nga
Sound balloon.
sound balloon napo na siya banda di ba?
Power spoon.
Power spoons unya napo na siya kaning tuslobuwa di ba?
Yes.
Tuslobuwa man or batsuyan both right?
Yeah.
Napoy batsoy di ba? So anak day ka ni Ayan si Kong day.
Yes.
Congratulations Ayan, you've raised a very talented and artistic child right in Zico. Zico sakto ba Zik? What? Kiezo, sorry. Nasagol si Zik Abelia og si Kiezo.
Pronounced Kaizo.
Kaizo.
So sorry.
Kaizo.
Sorry if we butchered your name.
Kaizo. So tell us about yourself, Kaizo. Go ahead.
Hello everyone. My name is Kiezo Se Kong and I go by Kaizo, my DJ name. And yeah, what was introduced, I've been DJing for 2 years in various bars and events, and just recently at March 20, I won the GADJA 2025 DJ spinoff. So
Asa man ni siya gi-held unya unsa man ni siya ang competition? What kind of competition is this?
okay, this was held in Central.
Okay, Central.
Yeah, Central, and
Kana sa may Mandawi, S Fortuna.
yes.
Okay.
And then this was a spin-off, like basically a competition to represent who will play for the GADJA, which is a USC event. So yeah,
So
Basically.
you were competing amongst Carolinians.
yes,
Yeah,
Carolinian
of
DJ.
course, that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest one of the biggest in the Philippines, right? So dagan kayong field. So how many were you competing against during that event at the Central?
I competed against, I think it was like 6 talented
Okay.
DJs.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So I remember my the DJ journey back in the day when nakaabot pa ko itong vinyl, right? In fact, that's the reason why it's called spinning, di ba? Or put the needle on the or put the metal on the put the metal on the put the needle on the metal or something like that. Because vinyl pa literally mag-spin man ang plaka, di ba? So that's how I started being a DJ, and I eventually became not became, but I also was a kind of a club DJ for like a few sessions lang ba, but I didn't really got into it because I felt like I wasn't good at it. I was only good at one genre, which was R&B, and you know, like kuyawan ko nga kung mag house ko murag makabayo bitaw. Okay, that's really the mortal sin of mixing. Kana magkabayo is kung ang imuhang beat dili mo match sa next segue ni nga kanta, magagubot paminahon. So I was scared of that, and I was more at home with R&B. Kay R&B is a kind of soft and slow, so makakuha ra ka. And my mentor was one of our actually our manager at that time, si Rico Cadorniga, who was also always in the club scene of Cebu, kanang vinyl gid siya ba. So ikaw kaning Kylo Ren. I'll think of Kylo Ren so that I won't forget. Kaizo, like how did you get into mixing or being a club DJ?
So I'm gonna like run through like how I started.
Yes, please.
So basically I saw this clip online of DJ. Her name is Amelie Lenz.
Okay, how long ago was this? How old were you?
That was 2023.
Okay, just 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Okay.
And then I saw the way she played, and then like it really got my interest because like I found it cool the way she was playing,
Mm-hmm.
and then so it made me decided, oh, like what if I try DJing? So that's what I did. I started practicing at home, and then there was another GADJA competition last year, which I decided, okay, I'm gonna join this, hopefully to get my name out there. Yeah.
So,
So
what is it about that particular video clip that you saw that inspired you? Unsa man, what about it?
I really found it cool how the DJ playing music and then
Mm.
the crowd was vibing.
Mm.
I found it really cool how one person could really get the crowd going through music.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you wanted that kind of feeling. You wanted to recap, murag sort of replicate that feeling, how you can also make a crowd excited, right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
dance and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it says here that you've been performing or DJing for the past 2 years, right? Tell me about where you performed. I'm familiar with Central, um, although that's kind of like an R&B vibe place. They also actually also play other genres, right?
Mhm.
But primarily they play R&B. Tell me about Central in terms of your perspective nga usa ka DJ dito, and then the kind of crowd that the Central has, because I think I don't know if you notice it, but each venue has its own vibe, right? And its
That's true.
own kind of following, right? So, Kadang Central, how is it distinct from the other bars or clubs in Cebu? Or when I say Cebu, I don't just mean Cebu City. I mean the entire island of Cebu. How is it different? Go ahead.
Okay. Based on my observation, Central is a bar where I would say all ages are open to go, and then
Okay.
they
Okay.
accommodate all ages.
Mm.
And then one of the things that stands out with Central is the fact that the big place, the really big place, it's spacious, and the way the interior looks, I would say it stands out. The design and all that. And then in terms of the music, yeah, that's true. They play R&B, hip hop, top 40s, um, pop. Pero I would say lately, like I've been experimenting actually in Central, wherein I started playing remixes.
Okay.
Let's say house remix of famous songs
Mm.
and all that. And then I was surprised on the reaction of the crowd because they actually vibe with it.
Mm.
So yeah, so I would say Central stands out in a way where it could the DJ is quite open to the music, and then could play whatever whatever fits the vibe instead of just sticking to R&B or hip hop. So yeah, I would say that's what
What do you mean by whatever fits the vibe? What do you mean by that? Can you
um
qualify? Because I think vibe, man, good, is something that the DJ creates, right?
mm,
So what do you mean? It's up to you, right? What do you mean by it's up to the vibe? That's what you create. So
yeah. The way I DJ is I play something, and then I'll look at the crowd, and then let's say the song I'm playing at the moment is quite upbeat. So I start playing something close to it or something similar, um, to get the crowd even more hype.
So you
So
set the mood for
yeah,
them.
basically I set the mood. So that's how I read the crowd, see the vibe, and then play whatever fits like what's happening in the bar.
what
The
what
moment.
what, what does that mean? Um, what do you mean? You read the crowd. Like, what do you mean? Like, do
Um,
you look at how they look? Do you look at how they're dressed? Do you try to look at how old they are? Or do you is it like a hit and miss nga, if they're gonna react to this song, then maybe I'm in the right direction. But if I'm playing this particular song, maybe I'm in the wrong direction and I should change it, right? So what do you mean by reading the crowd? How do you read the crowd? Do you read it based on the reaction they have of a song, or do you actually imong mata-matahon ba? You're gonna eyeball them and see, daghan man giuban diri nga crowd mutukar tag buttercup be. Ana ba unsa, how do you do it?
okay. Like personally, I'm still not really good at crowd reading, but
Okay.
like based on my
Yeah.
based on what I know or based on my experience, yeah, I see how the crowd moves when it comes to the music, and then the thing I also do is I look at like kind of judgmental, but like I kind of like guess their age.
Okay.
So when I see let's say younger people.
When you see your dad, Ian there. And, welcome to the Central Ian Se Kong of Power Spoons. What do you do? Like, and he brings the entire band and all of their fans. So may matukaran nimo. Parang little, I'll give you a scenario like that. Si Ian naabot sa Central onya. Nagda siya sa ang mga kaburks unsa may imong ipatukar ana.
Okay. In that scenario, I would play something early 2000s.
Okay, like what particular song? Come on.
I would say some Neo or
Neo.
Neo.
Maganahan din si Ayang Neo day?
Yeah,
Okay.
he would vibe with that.
Okay.
And also, there's a song that I started playing. It's called Ever After, Bonnie Bailey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I noticed that it really gets the crowd, especially in the older ages.
Okay, but
Going.
ang kanang bar, they're not just one age group, di ba?
Yeah.
Maglain-lain man na, right?
Mm.
So kung kita kasi mong papadito nga naabot or people mga in their 40s, maabot sa venue pag human napoy mga batan-on diri unya. So man nimo, how do you balance it? Like unsa man nimo pagbasa ron nga sa pikas iskina na ay kaning mga gores unya pikas pa dito napoy mga kaning mga estudyante sa USC nga nag-celebrate silang graduation what not. So unsa man nimo pag balance. You don't want to offend or kaning disappoint either one of them, right? How do you do it?
So yeah, basically, I try to balance in terms of basically I give chances to both age groups. So let's say three songs.
Kagana mo chance. Oh.
3 songs for this age group, 3 songs for the next age group, and then I find like an in between, something where both age groups can vibe. So I play that, and then yeah, they start.
Naamay kaning daghang mga remakes of old songs, right? So what is the role of remakes in clubs nga naay, for example, naay let's just say 80s or 90s nga kanta unya ang iyahang vibe, ang iyahang treatment kay ang nag-remake, let's just say si Avicii, for example, right? Which has already happened. Does that work? Like does that unite the different age groups in a club?
Yeah, I believe so, because he usually remixes modernizes the music.
Okay.
So I guess you could say it's like the best of both worlds.
Okay.
'cause
So does that
both
work?
songs.
But does that work? Like
Yeah.
murag both age brackets actually kaning murag dance to it?
Yeah, that's what I've been
Okay.
doing.
So
yeah.
that's your central experience, right? Of course, our conversation today is not just about one particular venue, right? It's also about generally speaking the nightlife of Cebu. Like I've been going out since I can remember, right? Especially because it's my job to go out back then. I rarely go out now because I'm my job has taken me elsewhere. But usually back in the early, I would say mid '90s to even a little bit of now. But grabe ito 2 decades ago, I would go out almost every night because my clients were the bar owners and the restaurant owners, right? So I want to know, like, based on your you've been club hopping, right? I can imagine because that's your job too, right? To feel the vibe. What have you noticed? Like aside from Central, where else do you usually hang out, and what have you noticed in that particular venue?
Okay. What I noticed with, like, I would say the scene lately
Okay.
is the crowd, they're starting to be more open-minded when it comes to music. Let's say, like, they don't, instead of just playing top 40s or typical commercial music, people are starting to enjoy more on the niche side, let's say house or even techno. So I noticed I would like to highlight Tagu. Yeah. The DJ there.
Mo man na sa lahog sa?
Yes.
Tago, that's the one nga tago jud kay literally, right? And
Yeah.
it's like on the second level, right? I think I've
Yep.
been there. Yeah.
Yeah. The DJ there, he started playing a lot of remixes
Mm-hmm.
on famous music. And
do you mean remake or remixes?
remixes.
Remixes. Okay.
Yeah, let's take a house remix of a famous song. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had a conversation with one of the DJs there. His
Okay.
name is DJ Denver,
Okay.
and then he said that he started experimenting on the niche genres, and then there's like a time slot apparently wherein he could play what he wants, and then let's say like house or techno or baile, just like a Brazilian type of music, and then he said that like the crowd really vibes with it and they really start dancing. So I guess I would say the scene here is growing in terms of being more open-minded when it comes to the niche side of music.
Niche. I'm not sure what niche means now, but to me, like niche is a very small group of people can appreciate something, right? Like a very specific group. All right. Is that what it means still? Like mo gyapon pasabot yan niya.
Yes.
Niche is still like a small group of people who can appreciate it.
Yes.
So speaking of niche, or I don't know if this is niche. This is not actually niche. I think this is already very widespread. Kaning K-pop ba? How has K-pop influenced the nightlife?
Oh, yeah, K-pop is really it's really famous here in the Philippines. Yeah, I would say like most of the people enjoy listening to K-pop, especially when it's played in clubs, and it's like a genre that I also tried playing, and then like the reaction I get sometimes is always actually is yeah, people really dance to it, people really enjoy listening to it, and then they really sing along.
I think the reason why it's popular sad sa kanang nga scenario sa clubbing because kanang usually K-pop songs naam ko sila choreograph na daan. So like when you play that song, you would automatically dance
Want to
the
dance.
choreograph the katong choreo. So kanang muna ma-vibe jud ng tao, especially if you're a K-pop fan or maski dili ka K-pop fan niya magsige lang siya gawa sa imong feed. I think that's the reason why booming kay siya.
Yeah, I think po mas mupatok yun siya kay since naman siya choreo gyud niya daghan ka tawo makabalo niya. Kana merg dili nimo kaila niya. Hala ka same ta kabota kabota
There's
na
that sense of
choreo.
belongingness.
Yeah, sense of belongingness
True.
And
together.
also like the nightlife in Korea or in Seoul, it's very kanang also patok pod guided to ilang nightlife niya murag ang kanang culture nila sa nightlife murag nadala na pod nila diri sa Cebu.
Oh, and then daghan ba kay mga Koreans, right? Sa
Yeah.
Icon.
Yeah,
Ana sila daghan jud kayo.
that's true.
Wait, so na ko question like as someone who's like very like beginner kay kuaning Cebu nightlife, no? How would you guys describe like our brand of Cebu nightlife compared to like maybe nightlife in other places?
Okay, good question. Honestly, I haven't really explored much outside Cebu, but based on what I've seen online and all that, Cebu is growing. I would say growing in terms of appreciating new types of new genres of music, because there's this a rise of events wherein they play, I would say like the niche type of music. Let's say for example house or techno, those genres. So yeah, I would describe it as growing basically. Yeah.
How about TMC team?
Do you have a
Wala ikaw sa.
Yeah, actually, I have a question. So, kanang K-pop is actually, I would say, a very divisive genre in the sense nga, and I know a lot of people who love it to death, and I also know people who would hate it to death, right? With a passion, right? So, akong pangutanan niyo, how does that work? Do you play K-pop? Do you have a K-pop song in your playlist, Kaizo?
I do, like personally, I'm not really into K-pop yet.
Okay.
So a few songs here and there.
So nagyo yung mga, I would say, how do we call them? Kaning mga music snobs, right? Nga they only like this kind of genre or that kind of genre. And yeah, when they hear something that they don't like, let's just say, sus kinaraan man ang tukar ni sa amahan. Ano naman ni buttercup dire, mga hawa ta dire, di ba? Nagyo mga ina nga music snobs. So have you come across that kind of scenario unya kaning kaning may na kayang vibe sa imuhang pagtukar sa venue pag human tukar lang ka og kaning murag usa ka kanta nga divisive kaayo niya na suko ang mga tao and stuff like something like that. Similar
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah, I had an experience once wherein, I had a mistake. I didn't mix properly,
Okay.
and then there was this person who was like, "Ah, well, lami."
Okay.
Like it kind of hurt, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'll just bawi.
Okay.
Bawi ako.
So you didn't mix it properly, or was it about the song that they didn't like?
Yeah, the song, and I didn't mix properly.
Okay. So what was the
Yeah.
song? What was the mistake that you made?
I didn't adjust the BPM
Okay.
properly, so it didn't go well.
So it wasn't about the song. It was about the it was a technical reason. Dili siya about the song was not any good or they hated the song. Kanang gyud man kanta nga kanang people hate, man.
Yeah.
Like Buttercup, for example. I'll give you an example. Kanang Buttercup sa panahon namo, panahon ni Ian, imong papa. I'm sure he hates this right now. But kaning this is like a dance floor burner gid ba nga kanta itukar ng Buttercup ang mga tao maghadol gid ko kanang Ever After. O sasa na siya sa mga kanta. Pero naapoy ako mismo kung makadungog og Buttercup manglakaw to eh. Kay di sa guganahan ng kanta ha, because I'm in the industry, right? So I'm kind of I'm less so now. But before, batanon ko ka. Kung batanon ka you have this exuberance of youth ba nga ganahan ka you want the world to be the way you want it to be. Makatawa jud I would laugh my way out of the club if I hear that song, right? Because medyo kuan lagi kita medyo music snob man sa tatong una pero karon I'm not as much as a music snob before. Ikaw wa pa ka nakasuya na nga nakatukar ka sa kanta nga suko ang mga tao kay grabe kayo ka in their eyes or in their ears baduy kayo.
Personally,
Wala
I
pa.
haven't
But you've seen that happen, right? You've seen
Yeah.
that happen.
I've seen that happen.
So what do you think, what venue do you think is the most snobbish music venue? Like ang crowd nila ba nga dili gid ay patukar ay patakag tukar dia ba kay kaning kung tukar kag power spoons diri sa atong club murag dili man ni makasabot ang mga tawo aning kanta kay jazzy man kaning lugar or something like that. Do you know of any place in Cebu nga grabe kayo ka music snob in the sense I don't mean that as a pejorative or panaway but in the sense nga specific yung kay ilang tukar kana ra gyud nga genre ilang itukar.
Yeah. I would say last. Yeah.
Last. Okay.
Last.
Sa may lahog, right?
Yes.
Okay. Taas sa kuan sa sana pizza, JCA Pizza, di ba?
Yeah. That place. Yeah.
Tell me about that. I've heard so many things about that. I've always wanted to go there, pero di ko ka-parking yun. Porting daghan ang parking yun. So tell me about that venue last. Nakatukar na ka diya?
Wala pa.
Okay, but
Wala
you've
pa.
been there.
I've been there.
Tell me about it.
So basically, last is a bar wherein they only play techno, trance, house. So those genres lang. And if you go there, you're not gonna expect any commercialized music, any
Walay lyrics.
walay
Ito
lyrics.
first time pag-atong na mo dito na siya kun hala. Wala gini mga lyrics ano to pagsabay-sabay sa kanta.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
like ka nang mura nag mag-rave, magana-anak ka.
Oh, ana. Yeah. Yeah, that's like the reaction a lot of people get when they get into last. We're in, hello, walay
I
lyrics.
think patok ko siya sa mga foreigners. Like
Yeah.
mga puti.
Yeah.
Kaya kita mga Pinoy gud ganahan tanay lyrics kay para yun to ba kani siya kanang na-memorize niya ang kanta. Kanang mo jud niyang ginapaminaw, cool kay ni siya.
Tipog songbok.
So ang last, you'd say house.
Yeah, house, techno, trance.
That sort of kaning genre. Kanang
Yes.
inana nga murag kusog ang beats per minute kusog estanan, right?
Yes.
Kana pong I just saw F1 last night. And I noticed nga all of the songs in F1 with Brad Pitt was all Afrobeats. Ang ilang gitukar puros Afrobeats, right? Kana Afrobeats food. It's also an up and coming genre. I heard, which obviously came out of Africa. Tell me about it. And is it also seeping into the playlist of DJs in Cebu?
Yes. Yeah, Afro beats, Afro music in general is rising, I would say. There's this collective that I'm sort of part of. It's called Firestarter.
I was just talking about Alex, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
Sir Alex. Yeah. So Firestarter is basically a collective where they play
Mm.
Afro music, anything Afro related. And um, in those events, I noticed the crowd wherein they really enjoy the music, Afro music. And then with that, I also noticed club DJs, they start playing remixes wherein um, basically Amapiano remix. Amapiano is another genre of Afro, basically. So yeah, that's what club DJs are playing nowadays, I would say. Amapiano remixes of famous songs. And then people really do enjoy it. So I would say Afro music, Afro beats in general. Yeah, it's seeping through the scene and then it's getting there. Yeah.
You know, I noticed that I noticed the venues that you mentioned aside from Central, katong Ago and Last, they're very small, intimate venues, right?
Yes.
They can probably fit like less than 200, maybe like 150 or even 100 or even less. And but there are also super clubs right now, like kaning what is that in Mandawi, Times Square? What do you call that again? Apex, right?
Yeah.
And the one here in AS Fortuna, what do you call that place?
Daghang super.
I'm sorry, in Mabolo, what do you call that?
Mabolo.
Icon?
Icon, yeah,
Icon,
yeah.
Icon, and there are many more super clubs, right? Have you been to those places, right? Tell me about the super clubs. When the venue gets bigger, by 5 times, kay kanang mga places like Apex and Icon, they can easily accommodate like 800 to 1,000, right? So does the vibe change, and is it more difficult to perform in bigger venues than in smaller venues?
To be honest, I haven't really gone much into the super clubs, but based on what I've noticed, these super clubs they usually accommodate foreigners, foreigners, Koreans,
Sa Icon, Koreans mostly.
yeah, Koreans, Japanese,
Yeah.
Chinese, yeah. That's like the crowd mostly in super clubs, and then in terms of like the music, they usually play EDM, dubstep, which is which captures the taste of these foreigners.
So
Yeah.
it's like kanang prioritize jud ang ilang like kanang kanang mga foreigners diri para di sila left out or
I think ang reason ano kay kanang since ang majority sa ilang mga crowd is foreigner, so dapat mo kuan sila mo adjust sila to
cater.
kinsay money, let's say money bringer,
Yeah.
di ba?
Yeah, I would
So
say so.
kana
Yeah.
sa management, if ikaw ang DJ karon, ingnan kadaanan na nila nga kanang pwede ka ni nga certain songs like today kanang tell you things unsay dapat buhaton nimo before you start,
Yeah.
or ikaw ra jud bahala.
Yeah, usually the management they tell you what to play, what genre to play based on, depends on the club. That's usually the case.
They ask you to perform for the foreigner you mentioned. Like this is not the like you've mentioned foreigners like many times, right? Like ningon kaganiha nga, there's like Caucasians who are in the clubs, and there's also the Koreans, right? So we're fast becoming a very diverse city, not just because of tourism, but also we're central to the Philippines, diba? So diverse kita cultures in terms of atong mga local guests na taga Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, diba? Dapat tayo mga international guests from Asia, like the Koreans and the Chinese and the Japanese and the Europeans and the Americans, right? So, tanong mo, like you say you haven't played in those big venues, but you've been to them, right?
Few times lang.
Which particular venue, super club did you go?
I've been to Icon once.
Okay, so sakto na nga daghan jud kayo mga foreigners when you went there, like and
Yes.
specifically what's the mix of foreigners? Are they mostly Europeans, Americans, or are they mostly Asians? Like unsa man klase nga foreigner?
Usually Asians. based on my
Asians, okay.
experience, Yeah.
So I venture in saying probably they're Koreans, right? Would it be safe to say? So kaning mga Koreans with the advent of the K-pop plus the actual Koreans na mismo sa venue, right? So does that mean the clubs now, especially the super clubs, play more K-pop more than ever?
Um,
What have you noticed?
I would say to accommodate the Koreans. Yeah, it would be advisable to play K-pop, I would say, but I feel like just based on my assumption, usually they don't want to hear too much of K-pop because you know they're here in Cebu to experience something different. So yeah, that's where EDM comes in, which is something that I noticed that they enjoy playing.
Mm.
I'm
I
kind
enjoy
of curious.
I'll just finish this line of questioning. So the Koreans don't like K-pop, or they don't like it as much because they're from Korea, and there's a lot of K-pop in their neck of the woods, right? In their clubs in Korea mismo, right?
Yeah.
So kung hunanaon mo, mas nindot siguro kung ilang ipatukar sa mga DJ dito kay local music. Kay ganahan man sila og I flew all the way from Korea to listen to K-pop. My goodness, right?
Korean
Or whatever, right? So ganahan ko makadungog siguro og kanang tukar sa lugar, di ba? So how has local music contributed to the playlist of local DJs? Ikaw, do you play local songs, and what percentage of your playlist is local? When I mean local, I don't just mean bisdak. I'm talking about maybe music from Cebu, from the Visayas, from Mindanao, even from the Philippines, right? That's what I mean when I say local. So how has it affected your playlist? Do you play more local songs or less na inuon because they're foreigners?
Okay. There was this time wherein I played in, basically it was like a fiesta, and then it was in Maribago.
Discoral.
Discoral.
Okay.
And then some foreigners came in. They were Japanese. Yeah. And then I played budots.
Budots, okay.
Yeah, budots.
Oh, unsa man ang budots ko ni? Pasabta ko na ko anang budots.
Okay. Basically budots is a genre, electronic genre that is came from the Philippines, and then it has like high pitch, basically like yeah, basically that, and then
High pitched. Okay.
yeah, high pitch, and then I would say it's quite goofy in a way. Yeah, goofy. Yeah. So yeah, I played that once, and then I noticed, wow, they're vibing.
Nalingaw sila.
Okay, nalingaw sila. And then so I kept going. Like, okay, they're appreciating budots. So yeah, I would say like they really enjoy local music.
Maning budot gani.
Kana.
Huh?
Yeah.
Maning budots. Unsa may nakabudots ana? Like what I mean is, the word budots can be can mean mura og bakya, di ba? Baduy, di ba? Pero unsa may, what makes this budots? Because this beat sounds like any other house song. Like, what makes it uniquely ours? Like, what did we do to the beats?
I would say you hear those, and basically like there are elements to it wherein it's quite, I would say, goofy.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can hear like a lot of like alarm sounds,
like-
and then the
Like
lyrics.
more comedic,
Yeah,
di ba?
comedic basically.
Okay.
And then also the lyrics, if you notice, it's sometimes funny or
From the meme, gani ka ng
yeah,
phrase, mga nasikat na phrase, then i-add up nila. Sakto ba ko?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So man budots.
Yeah.
So nagtukar ka og budots by accident, or you were trying to see if they like this kind of song?
Since it was a discoral,
Okay.
play budots.
And then
And then
it worked.
yeah, I worked on
Okay.
these few individuals
Okay.
who were
Okay.
Japanese. Yeah.
Oh, so what are you saying? So they like this beat because it's new to them,
Probably.
or what?
I would say it's new to them
Okay.
because it's a really Filipino music.
Okay. So
So-
budots is completely and a totally Filipino invention, you would say.
Yes, I would say so.
Ano siya?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ako na, I'm curious lang ba, like, ang crowd man good, di ba? Daghang gig crowd na mga foreigners and stuff. We can all the different ethnicities, but dili siya lisod to kanang cater to all of them. when mixing?
Okay, to be honest, I don't really have much experience when it comes to foreigners. Pero I think collectively they enjoy the same type of music based on what I've noticed. So whatever the DJ plays, like they seem to enjoy it as well.
Murag ang Pinoy ram guro ang arte kaayo kanang hala ba't silang music uy pang bukid bang kaayo ang mga foreigner mga they're just there to enjoy, relax and make new friends actually, di ba? So like if ilang mga kuyog nga Pinoy or ilang mga ka-table is they're having fun, then sila po they will have fun eventually. They don't really mind the music much. Or if naa man gani kanang certain di ba tana tibok oras nimo naka sa club magzikag sayaw kakapoy or kahangak. So I think ang mga Pinoy ra jud ang OA pud kaayo wala.
True.
Pang bukid mo kay niyo.
I think po ang foreigners kaya katong mo ingon, they're more there for the vibe rather than the music. Kaya yung mga Pinoy manggod sa mo horado?
What does horado mean?
Judge.
Okay. Judgmental na kayo? Okay.
Ang music daw kay murag kaskwaa ani uy dili man ni pang social murag.
Yeah, but when you're young manggod, like I once was last year, kaning kumbatanon kayo have your ideals, right? Kunahan ka nga ani ra gyud like this is what I think is art, right? This is what I think is good music, right? And so on and so forth, right? But the older you get, the more receptive you are to other genres, right? So kanang mga kadaghanan sa mga atos mga clubs, I would imagine are usually younger, right? Would you say that kaning Kaizo?
Yeah, usually younger.
Mga batanon gyud na sila. So
Yes.
probably in their early 20s, right? Or even we could go as old as their 30s, but usually mga batanon gyud na sila. So ilang mga ganahang kanta, mga bag-o gyud more or less, right? Tagsara nang mahitabo. Let's just say maybe on weekend siguro kanay mga gores, di ba?
Yeah.
Di ba?
That's true.
Pero nabantayan sir sa clubs, na yung mga like Mondays, na yung mga like let's say titas.
Okay.
Like, tagay-tagay. Mura na ba tayo? Kaya on weekends man good more siya on like kanang mga younger crowd jud. Pero ako na notice po, di ko sure if like it's true. Pero since ako wala ni na timeline na ang younger generation kay mas more sila inclined po to class like music na karaan. So kato mga buttercup sikat-sikat siya sa generation karon.
Yeah. Really now. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Would you say?
Kanang mga classic manggod kay syempre kanang para makaingon sad ba nga kanang nga ay wow kaabot siya ni nga
Cultured.
kanang
Cultured. Yeah.
So ikaw kanang do you also understand the 80s or the 90s as a DJ? Do you make it an effort to also understand the music of your parents or their parents for that matter, right? Because I think if you're in the entertainment industry, especially if you're a club DJ, your words are music, right? So kung ganahan ka makikistorya sa crowd, you need to expand your vocabulary in terms of what genres you know. So are you the type of DJ nga ganahan mo expand sa ilahang knowledge sa music, or are you the type you just want to stick to your guns and I'm just an R&B DJ and that's it? And if you want me to play buduts, buzz off, like what kind of DJ are you? DJ Kaizo, go ahead.
I would say I'm quite flexible.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of the events that I've been DJing, it had varying crowds and then varying genres that they asked to play. So there was this one time I got a gig for Titos Titas. So of course I indulged in their music back then with the help of my parents. And then there's this another event, a house party, wherein it was basically a niche type of music wherein I play lots of house, a lot of Brazilian. So I would say I'm quite open and flexible to play whatever the organizers ask me to play. Yeah.
Sir, mention lang ko ang dad ni Kaizo is I think nag-watch. It's Sir Ian. Yeah, is it
bro.
live? Nag-comment siya sa live.
How's it going, bro?
What's up,
What's happening? So ikaw nakipangutana si mong anak iyan?
Comment down below.
Na si Justin Narvias. May buntag ni mo Justin.
Hi, Jiggy. Hi, everyone. Top of the morning.
We're live on the air in 105.1 TMC. Right now, we have Kiezo Se Kong, club DJ who's been clubbing for the past couple of years. Atong gisgutan karong buntaga Justin Narvios is the Cebu Nightlife.
Nightlife. Yeah, fly day.
Nakaipangutana ni Kaizo, diha Justin.
Yeah, as a DJ. Hi, Sir Kaizo, by the way, top of the morning. And
Hello.
also to our three guests, no? Si Ellery, Christine, and Oliver. Hi, guys.
They're not
top
our
of the
guests.
morning.
They're the top of the morning TMC fixtures now.
Crew.
Together,
Yeah.
our crew now. Our family is getting bigger and bigger, Justin.
Yeah, you know what? We need to come up with a name for the three of them. It's like a group, like a group name.
The Powerpuff
Like
Girls.
Bubbles lang
Okay,
po, guys.
actually, Oliver, I do see you as Bubbles. I do see it yun. So we'll come up with a name, like a cool name, for our trio, for our top of the morning trio. But anyways, top of the morning,
TMC
guys.
Hiking Society.
Hiking Society. So for our question for our guest, si Sir Sekong, no? Si Sir
Kaizo, as in Kylo Ren.
Kaizo.
Kaizo, yeah.
Yeah, hi Sir Kaizo, top of the morning. I just
Good
wanted to
morning.
ask, as a DJ, what is the craziest thing that you witnessed during a party? Kaya I hear so many crazy stories from my friends who aren't DJs, but when they go out and like, mga things that they didn't expect to happen, they're not necessarily bad. It's just some of them are really funny, some of them are very surprising, and some of them are also like you wouldn't expect them to happen. So for you, sir, as a DJ, you've seen it all, no? What is the craziest thing that you witnessed on a crazy night out?
Okay, I'd like to highlight this one time I DJ'd for a house party. Yeah.
Mm.
And then it got to the point where bottles started falling from the second floor. I was surprised.
Oh.
Like, okay, people were that crazy. And then
They were lit already.
they were lit, exactly. And then drinks started spilling all over. And then
Mm.
people started, I would say fights sort of happened. Like it was a crazy night basically. So I would say that's my most craziest experience.
Yeah, so bottles were falling from the from the
Yeah, from the
sky.
second
So I can
floor.
imagine during that situation as a DJ, what do? You just have to did you just continue with that? Like, okay, now the party must go on,
It was a crazy night
Yeah.
basically. So I would just keep going because it's not my job, it's the management's job. So I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
there
right.
to play. Yeah.
I'm just here for the vibes.
Yep.
Ano
Yeah.
tagaan
So
mo
as a
yung
D-
problema?
Mao good. Like I'm just here to play. Sa ko kanang security
Bouncer?
bouncer. So as a DJ, what kind of music do you like to play? Like, do you have a preferred set, or does it really depend on whoever books you?
Yeah, most of the time it depends, but like as a DJ, like I really started with house, techno. So I would say those are my main genres. Pero lately I've been getting gigs wherein I play in bars. So of course I'll play club music, commercialized music, pop music. Pero I would say like my main genre dyan is house, techno, yeah.
Okay.
basically.
For your gigs, I usually see on TikTok, no, kaning mga DJs when they perform, there's always like that group of friends that's like behind them or near them at the booth.
Yeah.
And then, di ba, mga cool kids man na siya, like, it's cool if you're, that means you're probably tight with the DJ if you're able to be there, like, right beside them. In your case, Kaizo, are these people like people you know, actually, or are there random people that actually come up and just, like, feeling close na mo, tapal ra gyud nimo while you perform?
Actually, most of the time it's people I know, but there are
Okay.
a few instances where like, random like people I don't know, they just come, go near and like, okay, what's up?
Okay, it's
So
very
do you do?
Instagrammable.
Yeah.
Yeah, super, Christine. Kanang sa mga videos sa TikTok bitaw, like, they just vibe with the DJs aside. So I've always wondered, like, are they actually friends or are these random people? So if they're a random person, Kaizo, do you ever get annoyed as a DJ when they when they request a song or they ask you to teach them mid-set? Like you're in the middle of your set, and then I do see these videos of like random people, they keep whispering to the DJ and asking questions about like, how to do things. Does that annoy you?
I'm quite open. Like they don't annoy me personally, pero usually they know when to talk to me. So, like there wasn't a time where I was annoyed by someone talking to me.
Okay. So this is an invitation then for anyone at your gigs. Pwede ra gid ita mo tapan ni Kaizo, guys. Pwede ra gid ta
Tapad
magpa.
mi
Okay,
ha.
makikuan,
Sa
makisama.
mismo party tatapatan ni Kaizo.
Ingnan mi kung asa ka mo gig, please. I
Pwede
have
rin.
a question ba? Sorry, go. Would you like to ask?
Yeah, no, not ask. I just wanted to add in that sense because our TMC team, no, 3 months sila sa studio. We have Oliver, Christine, and Ellery. So we can have like two of them on Kaizo's left, and then I'll join Ellery sa right. So ano na ta? We're surrounding Kaizo sa set. Pwede na kita.
Asa man
Yes,
Sir
Gigi,
Jiggy
may
butang
nasa-
miss.
Atubangan, sa
Sa
Atubangan.
Just
Siya ang
watching.
musayaw actually.
But go ahead, Christine. I know you have a question for our guest today.
Kanang 'di ba, if you've been to clubs niya, naman jud kanang mood gani or kanang certain vibe. Kanang if tagaan ka gigs, do you decline or kanang nakay hesitation nga, ay mo di ko ganahan ni kay or like kanang ay dili man kay siya fit sa akong kuan or kanang Digimon mga yun.
Yeah, like,
Sorry
do
for
you-
the word ha.
Yeah.
Or naman na kanang judge man kaayo ang lugar. Oy di ko ganahan diri ko mo play kay makuha niya akong branding as a DJ nga na kay word nga na nga thinking.
Of course, yeah, I actually had that sort of mindset. Pero so far, the gigs I've been getting is something that I really enjoy playing. So there hasn't been a time where I receive requests or like invites on gigs that I didn't want to play.
So okay na dili ka sa Discoral. Kay naka-play naman ka sa Discoral.
Bullets pag
I mean, okay naman. It was a friend, so yeah, I did as a favor.
Was it like kanang asa gito?
Sa Maribago.
So where siya beach ba na sa Maribago?
Beach vibe.
Diba?
Kuhan to siya, basketball court nga.
Correct,
Oh.
fiesta.
Oh.
diba?
Fiesta.
Barangayan.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to segue a question about like maybe let's go outside sa DJing stuff or clubbing stuff. Kaya diba, our main topic is Cebu Nightlife. So I'd want to ask, aside from clubbing, like unsa may other forms of nightlife sa Cebu do you guys think?
Ay, to ano lang kayo, si Ellery di siya very immersed sa nightlife.
Yeah.
Yeah, strict
Please
parents.
enlighten me.
I would say kuhan tambayan, tambay.
Oh.
And there's this place, Shell in Manila.
Right?
Yeah, that's where
Oh,
like, a lot of
yeah.
people magtambay.
Magdala kag camping chair, di ba?
Kana.
Pero di ba, you're not allowed to drink man there?
Okay naman.
Okay na din.
Yeah.
Joke si Kuya Guard ha. Chares lang.
Pwede ka mo buy kasi lang sa convenience store, di ba?
Yeah.
And then, iset up rin mo yung mga camping chair sa kanang murag naman mo sila yung specific lugar. And also, if kanang mga pick-up nga car, kanang back, at the back, gani i-open
Yeah.
na nila, di ba? So, it's like tambayan. They call it tambikes also.
Tambike.
Ano mga motor?
Tambike.
Oo, they call it
Okay.
tambikes.
Okay.
With a kuan nga kanang chill numan nga na.
Chill naman. Yeah.
Bitaw. You know, Kaizo, and guys, I saw this something on social media about like a post. I think I saw it on Threads or on Twitter, or X rather. It was talking about how in Cebu nightlife there are like different types of crowds. Daw, I wanted to confirm this. No, tinuod ni siya, Kaizo, like lahi daw ang vibe of a lahog crowd and a mango crowd versus a Mandawi crowd. Like, I don't get the difference, but for nightlife, the way a lahog versus Mandawi versus mango crowd would act differently. Could you confirm or deny that for us? What do you think about that?
To be honest, I can't really confirm because I don't really see a difference, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So this is probably a myth. No, pero for our Powerpuff Girls, why do you guys think that there's this like distinction on social media? Why would someone make something like that nga? Lahi daw ang nightlife
Parang ako,
crowd
Justin,
for lahog.
I think I know what you're talking about. Kaning
Yeah, what
kung,
does it
kung
mean,
let's
Gigi?
just say kung Mango crowd ka, Mango Avenue crowd ka, medyo the perception, it's not reality but it's just a perception. Mango crowd ka, mura ka og medyo budots.
Correct.
Budots, di ba? Unya kung
really?
murag downtown uptown bitaw niya kung
Edge
kung
lang,
kuan ka kung
JJ.
Lahog.
kung uptown ka for example, mura mahog mo nag downtown, di ba? Like I don't know what the actual definition of uptown is and downtown sa but murag mahog na siya downtown ni uptown maabot ka dire let's just say sa Banilad
Mandawi.
medyo
Mandawi,
social
ana.
na
Konyo mo, daghang
Konyo.
konyo.
Ang pasabot ana siguro, I think it's the proximity of the homes of a certain socio-economic classes ba. So kanakas Manila, na madiyang Mariolisa, na diya ang kaning village, Paradise, and so on.
Okay,
North Town.
okay.
So mahog na siya og high-end nga lugar. Kaya ang mga tao diya, dili man kayo molayo sa ilahang balay para manglaag ba. So diya sila magsanbay. So kanang mga
Oo.
taga Mango sad ang mga tao sa diha I don't know any particular village of that place. But naay mga daghang residents po diha nga taga diha ra pud sila magsanbay. Although that's no longer true to me because I actually go to Mango very often because there's like a nice club there called Draft Punk, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're
Draft
familiar
Punk.
with that, right?
Yes.
Which is actually I like places like that. Kana bitong murag classless bitaw, meaning to say nga anybody can go and feel at home.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
a
what
lot
I
of
mean
live
ba.
bands
Akong pangutana actually nimo
perform there.
kaning Kaizo is kaning the business of it all ba, because I think this is an important conversation. Nakabantay ko because I still do talk to a lot of club owners and bar owners. I still have conversations with them about business and all of that stuff. Ilang observation is kana kunong mga batan-on kuno nga mga crowd kuno. Puno kuno kay ilang bar, daghan kay og tao, lipay kay katanawon, kung tanawon lang nimo daghan kay tao pero mag-order usar kuno kabuk beer kuno oy.
Ay,
So kaninga mag pre-game sila sa kuan sa Shell or sa 7-Eleven. Pag human ing adto sa club, mag-order kuno usa ka beer na puo sila ka buok. So tanawon nimo daghang kayog tao pero as it turns out business is bad. So I don't want to mention their names, right? And the names of their venues, pero nakasuway, eksperimento sila na gipuno kay ilang club, ilang bar, ilang restaurant, pero when they saw the bottom line,
gamay ra kita.
this is actually worse than gamay rag tao kay namay ni the more people there are, the more the possibility and probability for damage to property, right? So mga gubot, mga daot na mga tanom, mga and so on and so forth, right? So what are your thoughts on that? And how is the business of kaning the nightlife of Cebu based on your observation? Do clubs and bars still want to attract the so-called gores because these are the people that can afford, or they really are focused on the, let's just say, the middle class, kanang mga taga call center? Kaya I also heard from a lot of stories from a lot of club owners nga kani mga call centers kuno, especially kanang mga executive level na mga galanti sa kaistanan kuno nga
OM.
nga kaning unsa nang OM?
Operations manager.
Operations okay. Abi na ko kaning unsa tong gapon mga dinks, mga double income, no kids. Usapon na sila mga dako gasto. Nakaibaw ko ani kay I have a friend who's a club owner. Nag-ingon siya nga kana kuno mga puti kuno, kana mga Caucasian. Kuha naman na display ra man na sila. Gamay ram na gasto kana kuno mga Pinoy kuno nga nagatrabaho call center, grabe kuno kay mga bill kuno hambugiro kay sanan ba kay mga ang bill ko na tag 50,000 in one night and so on and so forth. So tell me about it. I'm just giving you anecdotes of what I've heard and what I've seen. In your experience, in terms of spending ba, how are the clubs programming? It starts with the music, right? To make sure that they make money.
An advice that I got from my dad, is as a DJ, like personally, like I'm not really into, I don't really know much about the business side and all that. Pero as a DJ, it's important for you to let the customers stay or let the people stay with your music. And then one advice that I got is you look at the table that has the most drinks.
Okay.
And then you play to what they like so that they'll stay since they're the spending customer. So yeah, that's like I would say like
unsa may kadaghanan sa mga naay mga Macallan diha og mga kaning Singleton og mga expensive whiskeys. Unsa may edad sa mga tao nga usually puno ang ilang table? Unsa may edad sa mga tao nga dili kayo puno ilang table or empty ilang table?
Usually like the older crowd. Like,
Okay.
They have
Sa mo nang matukad jud kag buttercup di ay. Ha?
Or yeah, like in the business perspective,
Yeah.
that's like the most I would say the most
Profitable
applicable,
na siya mo na ida kag kwarta, di ba?
Yeah.
How about kanang mga taga kanang mga dink og mga mga OM kanang mga middle class kanang mga taga call center? Have you noticed their spending habits?
I'm not really sure if they're call centers because I like can't really tell. Pero I would say yeah, like the middle class people, they tend to spend based on my experience in Central. I see their tables with lots of drinks and all that. So yeah, I guess it's true that they're really I would say like a spending crowd.
And I'd like to add, kay kanang mga call centers or kanang mga OM nga na, kay they usually go by groups man, no? Kanang good naman ko like kanang after party, like they had an event. And so like if your team is, let's say, Team Ollie, and then they will go to this club, nagsabot sila diri ang club, mo nang dako ilang spending, kay naman sila budget good, ana na. Not necessarily gikan sa ilahang pocket, though.
So,
Sa
the
company
company
card.
provides them like drinking money?
Dili ingon company, naiuban ka nang mag-sinking sila or anything. Kanang, pero sometimes ang company mo give sila.
So, ang like, example, ang kanina group, mag-chip in lang sila, mag tintahay, sinking fund nila na, then, at the end of like siguro the season or unsa ba, i-party na nila. Mag-ana kaya tayo.
And usually, manggod, if ikaw ang, syempre, ikaw man ang leader or kanang, ikaw ang kuan nila, ikaw jud ang mo give, right? Kaya para, kanang let's say, makabuild ka connection towards imong mga agents ba? I think mo nang reason. And there's also this strategy. Ambot, di ba, imuha man yung IR, imuhang investigative report. Kanang ilibre nila ang free entrance for the girls. Can you tell us about that, Hilary?
Yeah, actually, kanang last kay we had this kanang investigative journalism article, and then there's this isa ka club diri sa Cebu, di na ako mausulti asa, but I think you guys know. Nani club sa Cebu na like they offer like free entrance for women only. And yeah, but sa kanya siya kay everyday ni siya, sir.
Free ang girls always.
Yeah, always sila free ang women. Then we asked the management about it na anong free man ng women kay murag when you think of it like sa outside perspective man gud murag siya suspicious gani, like para nako murag siya suspicious na hala free ang women sa kanya. We know how like dangerous these clubs can be, especially for us women. So like kana ganing 'di ba na may mga mang hilabot jud sa mga clubs, especially kanang when they get drunk nga na. So yeah, that's why kanang mo to ni ask me sa management na like kanong free ang entrance sa women na sa inyong club. And then they said na like it was a business strategy for them daw. Kaya the more na kanang mga women mo adto dira sa club, the more sad na like murag ang men na mo follow and like murag murag
Bay na chicks dito sa ko dagan kayo.
Yeah, exactly. Mo na ilang business strategy. What do you think of that kanang strategy? Did you see it kanang in play sa mga clubs na imuhang na kanang DJ that?
That specific club you mentioned, I haven't played there yet.
So you know na asa na club.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, like I'm not really sure with like how successful is this strategy. Pero whatever brings in the money, whatever brings in the crowd, it's business. So
at the end of the day, di gyapon mo lambo inyong club kung wala mo ginansya.
True.
Ikaw, Sir Jiggy, would you go to a club nga, let's say, bata-bata pa ka and then you have the money?
Bata pa man, Sir Jiggy, nga naman ka.
Ay! Kanang very... Okay, sorry, Sir Jiggy. So, would you go to the club nga na free? Kanang daghan more population sa women?
Kuan man na siya, kaning ecosystem man na siya. Like, kabantay mo ng daghan sa mga members sa LGBTQIA community. Kadaghanan magud sa mga moro na sa cycle ba nga kadaghanan sa mga nasa depending on the club strategies napay uban nga mag-invite sila og mga members of the LGBTQIA community or you make them free kani sila magdam ni sa sila mga girlfriends, right? Di ba? And kaning mga girlfriends po nila maka-attract man og boys, di ba? So it's really like they're trying to engineer an ecosystem bitaw of kaning people para modaghang tao ang ilahang lugar. So if you ask me personally, like I'm always looking at that no matter what. And I don't go to a club because I don't like the chaos, right? Because I'm a whiskey inside a cigar room type of person. Even when I was younger,
chill naman type de ka, sir.
Even when I was younger, I'd rather have a cup of coffee than going to a club. But because it was work for me, nakasabot na kung ani ni siya maghimo na sila kaning scenario nga daghag kaning daghang mga ekal mga afam mga bayot sorry so that they can attract their girlfriends and the girlfriends can attract men and so on and so forth and napoy mga afam and so on and so forth. So it's really an ecosystem and you know anisay lang ta sa atong conversation kadaghanan man gud sa moadto ka og club or bar, you really are number one just having fun because you just want to dance, but also number two you want to hook up, right? You want to meet somebody new, right? You know, it could be just a friendly kind of dance, or it could be like you know, you're probably looking for a partner and so on and so forth. So dagan-dagan og mga agenda ang mga tao kung moadto sila og kaning usa ka club, right? You know, meet somebody new, you're bored with you know, you're tired and you want to unwind and just relax and so on and so forth. So lain-lain jud og agenda, but I can imagine nga a lot of them are all on the prowl, on the hunt, right? But I was intrigued to know nga you think that going to a club is quote unquote dangerous. What do you mean? And have you actually experienced anything that bad happened to you kaning Hillary?
Actually, sir, ako dili jud ko tig club jud kay di man pud ko pwede, and I'm like you na kanang di ko gananog kanang chaotic na stuff. But there's this one time na ni adto ko club tungod jud for our like project. Yeah, pag adto na ko dito kay murag ang vibe gani kay bisag gamay-gamay pagtaw ang vibe kay murag na feel na nako na like kana ganing nanay mahitabo or something, cause like tungod pud na sa kanang mga
Chaos, right?
yeah, tungod pud na sa mga scary stories pud akong na
What about the
kuha.
scary stories that you've heard? Before I let you answer that question, maayong bungkag ni Budi Ayan Si Kong, daghang salamat sa mga pagtanaw. Si Alexander Lim of Fire Starter. He's actually one of the guys who's promoting what do you call the genre again?
Afrobeat.
Afrobeats. Yeah, murag mag DJ po ni si kuno siya bago ni siya nga kaning what do you call this? Late bloomer ni siya sa DJing si Alex Lim. One of the founders of Fire Starter. Si Oliver Luis Amaya, who else? Alexander Lim, Cello Ochea Alivio, and those that are watching us right now, daghang salamat. What are the horror stories that you've heard from your friends, Hillary? Go ahead.
So based sa katong research namin for our article kay namangod kay like mga kanang female friends na like take adto pud sila og bar just to unwind and all. Pero like na mga times na kanang kuan gani like while they're dancing in the middle of like the dance floor kay kanang nay mo kalit og duol nila mag you know do like inappropriate stuff. And then nasa yung mga times na like kanang even though like they're minding their own business kay kanang nakoy like na kuan na story like gikawatan sila bottle bato kamo to
Kami to actually. Kamatag bottle.
please story.
Ano to, ang bottle is among ato na club is na siya second floor and the dance floor is sa ubos. So mo to nanaog me and walay nabilin sa table niya ang actually murag nato nabilin sa table but murag wa sila kabantay po niya mo to kay since murag duha ra sila or usa to nabilin sa table paglingit nila halawan among bottle. So
Naara siya sa Pika's table. And I've also experienced pod nga ing ana scary. Kay kwanto, we were celebrating Valentine's Day and we were single man at that time. And then, so we went to this club. And then, I was still sober. And when I'm sober, magod, akong ikuan ng environment gani. It's like, abdik pa kay ko akong senses. And so like, gamay table naman to siya. Kana magbarog ra ba? And then there's this guy nga sige siya give og drinks niya, sige mig-decline nga ay okay ra kay among ra sa nato kay ay di mo inom og beer man to yang ga-offer niya kami ato nag black label mo girl or something like that. And then he keep on pestering us ba nga mo inom, and then yana mi nga dili lang, and then I saw him nga mura siya na siya gibutang. And then iyang gigive na sa ko ay dili lang mi kay kanang padung na sad mi uli. And then one time kay nangita mig ice kanang gisugo na kong friend nga palit og ice kay kulang na og ice, and then i-offer siya, then ako niya na ko blatantly I said no lang kay makapalit rami, and then inyo lang na sige lang enjoy mura jud mo na nga scary kay wa man mi kuyog ato nga boys. I think ingana ang kuan sa mga lalaki no
Yeah, tirada na. nakinapod ko yung friend actually like personal experience gud niya akong gina na at this one club sila mo duha sa iyang friend pud ni adto kay mga bag they were in a party and after sila party kay ma-feel nila na galang sila mo dance so nato sila this and this particular club and na spike sila dito. Yeah, na spike ilang drinks daw. And na po experience personally, wala ka ato kagihilantan ka. Ang mga friend kay nakawatan siya, duha ka phone. Na naka-charge sa power bank, ang power bank gibilin ang phone gikuha.
Oh.
So that's the horror stories. Ikaw, Kaizo, what experience man imong na mga horror stories, let's say? Asa club or
Club
DJ,
goer or DJ.
whatever.
Yeah.
So far, wala. Like honestly, like I haven't experienced anything bad. Pero what I've seen lang, you know, a lot of you know, basically bad stuff, chaos, people starting to fight, a lot of away, let's say, mga uyab, magkuhan.
Gitabisan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Opo na,
yeah.
I think sa one po sa dangers in clubbing is once mag-intoxicated ng tao, mag-una na ang intrusive thoughts. So kung aggressive ka as a person, siguro manumbag na kasama gamay lang kang bikil.
Gitabisan lang. Itutukan lang. Feel na niya.
Who you looking at? Who you looking at?
Yeah.
Tanong-tanong man ka. Sa problema ni mo na to. Sabay.
Wala na siya manghasi na gid siya. So ang ako experience before, especially when I was younger, which was last year. My buntag ni Maria Raymond too, by the way. Was that ang kanang club scene, bar scene in Cebu, it's still a weekend crowd gyapon niya. During weekdays wala jud kayo kaning tao. So muna sila mag ladies night sila para especially during my time Wednesday magito ladies night para manapoy tao sad sila in town ba during the weekdays ba. Akong pangutanan nimo siguro diri Kaizo is unsa may tan-aw nimo, like has that improved, has that changed, or by and large kaning clubbing and bar scene in Cebu is still pretty much a weekend crowd?
There are some bars that have events, I would say, on weekdays. Let's say beer pong Wednesdays. Beer
Are
pong
you talking about
Wednesdays.
trademark?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trademark.
Yeah, have you also played there?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
okay.
Yeah. So beer pong Wednesdays, and then there are some bars that open like it's a normal night. They just open the bar up. So
Pero kag tao na tao during the weekdays or wala kayo kumpara weekend. Lahi gyud
yeah,
weekend, di ba?
lahi
Lahi
yeah,
gyud.
lahi
Lahi
gyud.
vibe.
So imong tan-aw like I remember before also nga ang shelf life sa usa ka club o sa ka bar is less than 5 years ni mapulan na yung mga tao. Like, you know, either you close down and then give yourself a new name or maniran lang gyud totally because wala gyud tao. Like sa Cebu ba nakabantay ka nga is it still like that? Because I'm talking about the Cebu from 10, 20 years ago, right? Or maybe even longer. Ang pulanon kay ang mga tao nga after a while ang mga clubs manira na kay pulaan na sila, mahutda na sila kaning PC ba mahog dili na sila maka sustain na silang negosyo. Do people still have shorter kaning do bars still have a shorter shelf life pareha ni atong una, or has the bars done something or has discovered something medyo mataas-taas ilang shelf life? Based on your experience lang.
My experience. Personally, like I haven't really indulged much when it comes to the shelf life of
Okay.
bars, but like based on my experience, I noticed there are some bars that closed down only because I would say business wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
In terms of the shelf life, I would say it's still I say it's going strong. Like there are some bars that are around for more than 5 years now. Actually, for example, Central, it's been around for quite a while now. So and then these new bars are popping up. So I guess I still have to observe.
You know,
these new
here's my
bars.
observation.
Yeah.
Kanang Central man good, murag open close open na sila, di ba? Sige sila renovate, sige sila they had like some exciting things going on with them. Yeah, they closed down for a while and then nangabi na po, di ba? So murag on and off, but that they're still around for a long time now. Kanang Last, for example, dugay na po ng Last, di ba? And kanang F Cafe, di ba?
Yes.
They renamed themselves back to F Cafe just recently. They used to be called Silk Road Bar and Restaurant or something. because they had some issues. But now they're back to F Cafe, and F Cafe has been around for a long, long time. So probably even almost 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. So dugay-dugay na gyud. Kanang sa waterfront, kanang gitawag nila Aqua karon, that used to be another bar.
Agua.
Agua,
Yeah.
that used to be called, naglibog ko kay, that used to be called H2O.
H2O.
Agua, water, right? So but it closed down and it reopened as Agua. Pretty much the same kaning venue, di ba? So ang nako nabantayan, dugay-dugay na pud manira ang mga clubs and bars karon. So I'm wondering ba, like kanang generalization ako bitaw nga ang mga batanon dili kayo mo order, and kanang mag pre-game sila, like in 7-Eleven or sa Shell and all of that stuff. That is still true.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. So how are the bars and the clubs making money if that's still true? Ang kadaghanan sa mga batanon mag pre-game sila, they rarely order in the venue. Like what's my strategy sa mga bar owners? It's a Central or sa Last or whatever venues you performed. What do they do? Kung dili kay mang-order ang mga batanon, like unsa man nila, like do they try to have shows or parties nga ang theme kay medyo a little bit older, or do they want the crowd lang and forget about the sales? Like unsa man?
Ako I'll answer that
Okay.
question kay nanamjay promotion kay na may social media, no. Ako mabantayan if especially kanang you're part of the cool kids.
Okay.
Kanang you're a party goer, kanang sikag club hopping. Sila dyan na usually ang mo promote gani kanang kani nga DJ mo play ni siya at this club, and then dagan if you have many followers, then katong mga let's say kanang ni follow nimo inganyo sila nga moadto ko ani nga kanang club kay murag gina-recommend ni kuan, then I know this person, I know this girl, she's the life of the party, so kaniyang mga club nga pangadtuan mga lit girl kayo. I think usa po na nga strategy nga ilang gina-use kanang ang mga batanon ang mo promote, and nasad sila another promotion nga kanang just message me, hit me up, kanang makalibre ko ni mag entrance inga na gani. I think they're also part sa ikuan na sa management.
Also, you have influencers po.
Oo. Maski dili ka influencer pero you have many followings. Inga na kay I've kanang observe gani sa akong mga friends nga who has a lot of followings.
Yeah, ako maka-add po ko like nang siguro na dili siya as like ingon na murag impactful compared sa like promotion sa clubs. But ako naman I think pud na makapadala pud og kwarta sa mga tao ni mga hubog. Kana ganing example kana mo gara gani kana bang nang murag mapingis, makulangan. So kana murag nakoy friend before na murag ilang I think bill na abot og 20k kay ang usa hubog na. Puno pa. More. So mo na murag ang bill musa kag taman.
Abi experience nga na kay nga murag moora ni inyong sabutan nga kanang like amount let's say 5k ang consumable. Kanang na-reach ba og kanang like kanang 2k ang na-add or 3k? Have you experienced that with
Yeah.
your friends?
Many times. You know, madasa kuan, madasa
Kanang do you think
lingaw.
ang reason kay kana malingaw and then mugara na.
Yeah.
Ano mo ingon nga ay wala ko ikadugo pero once nga mo kick in ang liquor makapagawas jud.
Oliver.
So siya mention Oliver mugara. Is Miss Justin still there? The line?
Miss
You know, I've
Justin.
got a couple questions for our guest today, Kaizo. Actually, two different topics ni siya. Number one, so first of all, no, for context, TMC, we're all about homegrown everything. Topics nga homegrown, issues, events na homegrown, things that are relatable to Cebuanos mismo music. So speaking of music, now I wanted to know what is the nightlife or the party life like, especially involving Cebuano music. Is that a thing ba? Because I know maybe for a lot of rap artists, a lot of their songs are played man gyud sa mga sets for DJs, cookies and the like. But I can imagine for different genres, I don't know. I personally don't know if there are a lot of like in the case of our Kaizo, no? Kaizo plays house music, for example. That's like one of the genres that he plays. Do you ever consider remixing Cebuano songs in your house music, or are there mga Cebuano house songs that you play? Is that a thing for most DJs?
There's there's a few individuals or some DJs I know who also produces, and then
Mm.
some of them they create remixes on famous,
Mm.
Cebuano music, and then
Mm.
yeah, and then I sometimes play those, and then I get a good reaction to crowd. So I would say like
Mm.
that's their way of um modernizing, not really modernizing, but more on
Mm. Mm.
getting like making the music have a different vibe overall. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that they incorporate that pudno. And as you mentioned, it elicits a positive reaction from the crowd because murag as Cebuanos, murag malipay man sad guta ma-proud ta ba we hear a familiar song or it sounds like oh it's a modern twist on a song. So I'm hoping that more DJs would make use of that, no, and like what you do, nga i-remix siya. My next question for you, Kaizo, is no, and for everyone as well. So when we talk about Cebu nightlife, I think it's like a big spectrum, no? Pero not as varied as nightlife in, I would say, sa Western, for example. Kay Muing kag Cebu nightlife, that doesn't only include clubbing or going to clubs. That includes other activities, which I noticed karon sa Cebu, dako na kaini mga establishments that make use of mga game nights. There are establishments that do drag queen shows, which I feel we only follow that from the West. I feel like, for example, ang makita nako again from just like TikTok sa US, basta yung kag nightlife, there's so many. There is like the kind of establishments that offer dancing, salsa, and other activities, e-game night, something like that. Sa atua, I would say medyo kulang pa kaayo just because I noticed, for example, like Jiggy would say, ba wala kay mga stand-up comedy um, clubs sa Cebu. They're usually like LGBT clubs. It's like gay performers or gay comedians, but there's not a lot. Like sa US, daghan man kay stand-up comedy, like not necessarily in the context of LGBT, but kanang more of like straight comedians, for example, ba? That's not a thing here now. It's also not a thing na ang kanang disco club, like not necessarily for drinks, but just disco. One thing we don't have pod that I noticed na sa States is kanang roller skating club. That's
Mm.
so uso sa ilaha. Daghan sila murag rink siya. It's a club, but you roller skate, and then or line dancing a club. It's a big club, but everyone does line dancing. So maybe my question for everyone here is that if there is another facet or an activity that you would like to introduce that would be uso sa Cebu nightlife, what would it be? I'll go first. Ako I would love a nightlife activity nga kanang drive-in theater. That would be so cool.
Mm.
Like under the stars nga dako kayo nga like a really nice big screen nga clear siya, and then people can drive in, and then it's you also sa States, you tune in your radio to the frequency that they ask and everyone can hear what's on the screen. So wa pataan na, I wish that would be a nightlife activity nga i-offer sa Cebu, labi na sa Busay, maybe in Tops, guys.
Sounds
So that's
good.
my
Sounds
take.
good. Uh,
Diba, Jiggy?
can I be
Ikaw,
this
Jiggy.
this has already been going on all over the world, and I think
Mm.
it's already going on. I think, but I haven't seen one yet. I'd like to have like a kind of daytime parties. You know what I mean? Like I want
Oh
I
yeah,
want parties in a cafe, for example, and
I like that.
for people to drink coffee. Maybe the party starts at 3, like at the afternoon disco of our time. We can have coffee. We can have kaning non-alcoholic beverages in a cafe, and there's going to be like a DJ performing, and we can have conversations and dance at the same time. Because I think I'm not a big dancing person. Right, I can't dance. I have 2 left feet. Right, so I really can't dance. But I like the vibe. When I go inside a club, I like the vibe. I like the energy. It's almost like when we're hosting a ranba. You can feel
Fun
the
run.
energy, right? So I think I'd like to have a place like that, because coffee is also kind of an upper, right? It keeps you alive and active, right? And that's exactly the vibe of a club, right? But you don't get, because you're drinking coffee, you're not going to get sleepy. You're gonna get more uptick and more active, right? So that's what I want. I like a daytime. Daytime. I don't mean morning. I mean like hayag pa
Just a
ba?
daytime.
Hayag pa until let's just say until early evening kind of
Yeah.
party. with coffee and non-alcoholic beverages. How about you guys? What do you think?
Can I butt in? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, there's this collective wherein we play in cafes and coffee shops. This
Mm-mm.
Saturday actually there's an event. It's called Daylight Groove.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah, this Saturday. Lin Cafe in Kasambagan. Lin
Oh,
Cafe.
perfect. So what's to
Where
expect
Kasambagan is, but
for these events?
that's where Sarosa is.
Yeah, that area.
Okay, that area. Asa napita?
Sa Rosa niya, you go in.
Okay.
Yung sa esquina sa 11 near Pavement Records.
It's near pavement.
Yeah, that
So
area.
Lin is a club or a restaurant?
It's a cafe.
It's a cafe.
Yeah, and
So
restaurant.
That's so cool.
We're gonna start at like 2. I think 2 or 3.
So
2 p.m. Yeah,
sama na,
afternoon.
kaning, will they be serving coffee and
Yeah.
non-alcoholic beverages, or are they also going to be serving alcoholic beverages?
We won't serve alcoholic beverages because the way we're going about this is sober party.
It's a sober
Yeah,
party. Okay,
sober
that's
party.
I think that's what
That's so
that's what
cool.
it's called, sober party.
Yeah.
So kano sa man kutob?
Until 7, I believe.
Until 7.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun. And once I make music,
A lot of house.
a lot of house. Well,
Yeah.
so I'll be there. I'll check it out. This is this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend.
Send me invites, okay?
Daylight Groove on Instagram. Yeah.
Daylight Groove.
Daylight
Ana, that sounds so interesting. So that's a perfect example of how I think nagkauso na pod na jig. I've seen a lot of cafes do coffee parties or sober parties, and I think that's a great idea. Nga dapat padayunan na nato part of Cebu, not nightlife, but Cebu party life. What about for you, Kaizo? And then we'll have our Powerpuff Girls next. What activities would you like to add to Cebu nightlife or Cebu party life that you think nga mauso diri sa Cebu karon?
I think yeah, same with Sir Jiggy, the sober party, because I believe that it's something that it instead of like the perspective we get when it comes to clubbing is drinking, getting drunk.
Yeah.
Pero like why not enjoy music sober, diba? And then
Yeah.
it strikes conversation, and then it's like a whole different vibe compared to typical clubbing, basically.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Okay, there's so much to enjoy the company of your friends, and sometimes, I mean, when I think there's gonna be a big difference sa imong mood when you're sober. Kanang you can pay more attention to detail, maybe even make a deeper connection with people and enjoy your time more. Personally, like di ka maglabad og ulo after, you know,
That's true.
you don't have you don't have
Hungover.
Oh, kana. Di ka ma-hangover. Second, as ang giingon sa atong Powerpuff Girls kanina, di pa gid ka mo extend, mo go beyond your limit of pay.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're in the right mind, di ka madala sa kanang, oh, you know what, maybe I don't know, if mo over kag bayad sa imong kape, you buy more coffees, but
Di ka
yeah,
nga
that sounds like a great
magpalpitate.
idea. Ay, kana po. That's okay. That's the one thing. Magpalpitate ka. What about you guys, Ellery, Christine, and Oliver? What activities would you like to introduce for Cebu nightlife?
So for me personally, I'm a very big dance enthusiast. So I want na like
Mm.
here sa Cebu kay kana ganing mga underground na dance battles. I don't think na like
Oh,
una ko yun nahibaw na yung ano dito sa Cebu. Pag I think May man siguro to Red Bull actually came here with their Dance Your Style sa Ayala.
yeah.
But murag
Mm-mm.
ang track na to murag gamay ra gay kayo ang mga tao na nangadtoing ana. Yeah. So I want na like kanang mas mo dako siya diri sa Cebu. Kay we have a lot of talented dancers here. So and I also want na like ma-recognize po ang atong dance scene po diri as someone who really
Yeah.
likes it. Yeah.
Yeah. So for
Yeah,
me, go ahead, Justin.
Go ahead. Sorry,
Okay.
go ahead, Oliver.
For me lang, this is for my mga girlies na makuyawan og crowd kung sober like me. O kanang makuyawan
Same, same.
and kana pong mga arty girlies out there, ganahan ko kanang nighttime art classes. I think na siya karon but
Sa Atwa?
Ooh.
Sa Atwa nag-offer na?
ato ba actually is magnirado sila og kanang mga around 6 I think.
I really.
Ana but kanang kanang namag kanang times na kanang ang inspiration nimo to make art or to paint or something
Bitaw.
comes out at night.
Oh, that's so
Ganahan ko
true.
to provide a community for that gani. Na ang kaning mga girlies na ang inspiration mga night owls maka-interact sila with their fellow night owls through art at night. Ay,
That's a great idea.
mocktails lang.
Mocktails.
Okay. Same with Ellery. Ganahan ko nung makitag dance battle. Maybe di ko mo join kay dilim kay ko into dancing. Pero kanang ang crowd gani kay madala mo ka makain ko. Wow, galingan ni ay kanang murag ang vibe gani.
The
Mo nang ganahan
community.
ko kanang na dance battle. And na comment is from my sister. Ang iyang gisuggest nga name daw na mo Power Tops Girls.
Oh, I love that.
Power top.
Power Tops Girls. Kana, that's a good name.
Oo. Ay, can I also, kanang, she commented man god sa katong video nga among gimake kanina with Sir Jigs. Kanang, she asked ba kanang TMC, kanang, what's your take if I 31 years old nga mom, kay mo nightlife pa, which is chill vibes lang and watch lang live band. Thank you daw.
Oh.
What's your take?
Maybe,
Kanang, if a 31-year-old mom kay mo nightlife pa, pero yahang nightlife is chill lang, chill vibes lang niya, mo watch lang live band. Like,
Actually,
what's your take?
Well, there's a lot of venues that are like that. The one that I mentioned earlier, katong F Cafe, has that vibe. Nga kaning banda-banda ilaha every so often. Nasa like karaoke nights and all of that stuff. And daghan kaya nga mga venue nila, katong Fiddlers, and a few other venues, right? So, kana man kung live band, lahi po na siya vibe compared sa club, right? Kay naaman ay pagka more customized na ang live band. For example, mukanta-kanta sila and happy birthday to Christine and welcome to the Philippines to Kiezo all the way from Indonesia, whatever. And yun, so ma-customize na yung mga experience mo ba kay tao na ko na pwede ng Tagalog kaning papel mo request o kanta, although DJs also get that sometimes, diba? Na nalay mo request kayo mo request og budots, diba? Lami na kay kagtukar mga kuha na kayo mga social na kayo pag human nalay ka og request og budots, and usually DJs don't necessarily play it, especially kung dili bagay sa vibe, pero kanang banda-banda mo, you can easily change the mood bitaw from love song to rock songs. Kay grabe makay ka-talented ato ang mga banda. So lain sa nang experience ang banda og ang kaning DJ experience. Lahi gyud na sila. Ang akong nabantayan is ang kanang mga banda-banda, I would say older set ng ang ganahan og banda-banda. Usually it's the older people who relatively older people compared to the kids. Oh.
Older di akong ati ang 31.
Oh. But well, you know, depende ra man sa vibe nimo good, pero kanang banda unlike clubs, dili pod heart pounding ang music ana ba? Kana dili sa kaning non-stop ba kanang club man good. Non-stop gyud na kay mix ko na yun. Wala gyud dead air, wala gyud silence ba. Kanang banda say na after 30 minutes, after 45 minutes, pahuway sila. Get ready for our next set in 30 minutes or something like that. So kanang kung if you want conversation, that's why I really don't like noisy places, because I'm a very I like conversations. I'm the kind of person that loves to talk. Look at me right now, I'm talking.
Yeah.
I've been talking forever, right?
Halata.
So kung adto kog club, magsinagita ita ha unsa? Like what? I don't understand what. So you know what I mean? So di ko malingaw gyud, di magdungog ba. So lahi gyud akong tuyo kung adto kog usa ka bar. You know, if when I was younger, you know, I'd still, you know, like use conversation as a kind of, you know, tool to meet other people and meet new friends. Ikaw kani Christine, did you already suggest what kind of parties you want?
Yeah.
Ikaw kaning Kaizo, like you already heard our versions of our kinds of parties. What kind of party would you want to bring here that has not been, or it's not yet a thing here in Cebu yet?
Since I really enjoy the niche type of music, let's say techno house. Last is already doing it, pero I want more people to, you know, get into that, you know, type of music, because I believe that it's a genre that people should get into, techno, you know, those type of music. So yeah, I believe that type of scene here in Cebu should be a thing, hopefully.
Yeah.
So that you can.
So techno music nga event, like an
Ikaw Kaizo ba?
event that's
I'm
that
curious. Like,
DJs play.
what is growth to you? Like how do you think a DJ should improve? Like unsa man imuhang measures of you improving? Like unsa may imong mga metrics, if you want to call it that. What is what is Kaizo looking for to get better at, and how does success look like to you? When can you say I've already grown, I've already have achieved a level of success?
I would say if I have opportunities outside of Cebu, I would say like that's like a level where I want to get into. And then another goal I want as a DJ is to start producing music as well.
Yeah.
Um Hopefully like I could put in my ideas in terms of music and then play, and then hopefully people can enjoy it as well. So I believe that's like my metric of success in a way, to play outside Cebu.
Kaya ka na silang mga Avicii, silang the late Avicii, silang
Oo.
Calvin Harris, and so on and so forth, right? These are DJs, right, that also produce music, right?
Yes.
So we rarely have that here in Cebu, or naidagan, pero we just never hear from them. Like na ba yung mga like the Calvin Harris? Kasi may Calvin Harris sa, kasi may Avicii sa Cebu ba? Like na ba yung nana nga maghimo sila og kanta and make it their own? Who's that DJ? Do you know of any? Or is it going to be Kaizo?
I mean, I mean personally, I don't know anyone
Nga
yet.
naman. Why is it difficult? Like, is it difficult to produce?
Yeah, it's a difficult hobby to get into because it takes so much time, and then you really need to learn. And then the issue some people have as well is time. Let's say they have jobs, so they can't really focus more on producing. It's possible, but like I guess you just really need to put in the effort into it. And so far, like I haven't seen like a DJ yet. I mean, there may be out there, but personally, I don't know anyone who plays what they produce only.
Ngomong gitawag nila the new rock stars, right? I mean, like there are events outside of well, even in Cebu, ang kanang DJ ra powered by just a DJ, right?
Mhm.
They're like the new rock stars, and logistically also mas I would say mas realistic siya to bring because it's just one person, right? I mean, sometimes when you bring a band, like there's like
All of them.
not just like 5 members of the band,
Mhm.
but they have to bring like the roadies, they have to bring all their
Yeah.
instruments and so on and so forth, right? So ang technical requirements of one person of a DJ is not as expensive. I think although I may be wrong, kay kani silang Calvin Harris, grabe po kani silang mga technical requirements, right? But I can imagine them to be cheaper. So I think we should have like a that's one of the things that we lack, Justine. Aside from stand-up
Yeah.
comedians, like the producer
Yeah.
DJs that will rival the Calvin Harrises and the Aviciis of the
Pero,
world.
yeah, but in fairness, I noticed, a lot of these producer DJs, they do have concerts in the Philippines. It's just not necessarily in Cebu. So, kaning sila mga Zed, they go to Manila, right? They go to Manila, Calvin Harris, but not necessarily in Cebu. So it would be nice.
They've
if maybe
they've actually been here. There's so many great super DJs that have already been here in
DJ Snake.
Cebu when usually during Sinulog, right?
Sinulog.
Right?
Yeah.
Tinulog.
Kaning I forgot the name na yun, but there were a great. Who's the Japanese guy? The Japanese DJ again? The globally Steve Aoki.
Steve Aoki?
Steve
Steve
Aoki
Aoki,
was
yeah.
already here a few years ago.
Yeah.
And many other great DJs. So we've already been exposed to what they can do.
Mm-mm,
And
mm-mm.
that's important exposure so that you'll understand how to do it, right? So mo getting the new rock stars now. Yes, Oli, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Let's add answer, diba? Part of like growing is like becoming a master of your craft is like imparting your knowledge or talent to others. This friend of mine, si Miko, I think you know Miko,
Yeah,
Versai.
Miko.
Yeah, ni-reply siya sa akong story na you're her coach daw in like DJing.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
And so how has that been? Nakanamrag, is it difficult po na as you nag-grow pa ka as a DJ, mo impart po ka sa imong knowledge to others na ganahan po mo start? How does it look like for you?
Personally, like I like teaching people DJing, especially if they're interested. And then I really like teaching people what I know, teaching people the ropes in when it comes to DJing. So I would say it's fun because like I get to learn as well because they have their own style that they want to impart. So like we can sabot. Yeah, basically. So it's like a two-way thing, the way I see it. I
How
get
about
to
you,
learn.
Justin? Do you have a final question before we wrap it up? Because it's already 12 o'clock. Go ahead.
Yeah, so first off, now I want to thank again our guest, Kaizo. Thank you so much for coming in today and helping us learn more about Cebu nightlife, what it is like to be a DJ. And we can definitely have this conversation another time. Kanang, there are so many facets of Cebu nightlife na pwede gid nato i-explore. And of course, to our Power Tops girls for bringing in our guest today and for curating this idea. We love their topics gid kada like super relatable, especially sa mga youth karon. So I think my last question to just wrap everything up. No, speaking of Cebu life, nightlife, and partying and having fun, what is your this question's for everyone, by the way. What is your go-to party starting song? Like if you were to start a party, what song would you start the party with? So I'll go first. If it's like a set with hip hop music, I would love to start the set with "This Is How We Do It" by Montel Jordan. Kanang "This Is How We Do It." But if it is a live band setting, like if it's a live band nga event, I would love to start the party with Sweet Child of Mine by Bon Jovi. I think those two songs would really get people's blood pumping. What about you guys?
For me, it would be kanang if party starting jud 2012 2 0
Zero,
1
one,
2.
two. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Kay next po siya kay mura siya ga intel na daan mura ga story na daan kung unsay what's to come your nightlife na magligid-ligid ka chares.
Okay, thank you, Oliver. What about for Christine?
I party with any kuan mga good music, especially kanang mga upbeat lang. Pero for me, kanang any Chris Brown songs kay murag groovy, sexy,
Oh.
for me lang. How about you,
Yeah,
Hillary?
Chris Brown is good.
If
Ellery?
you were to party,
Mine is like I would say I'm not sure if you guys know this song, but I Am the Best by 21.
Kana.
Sorry,
Okay, that's a really good one too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very hype mong good. And then this new song by Huntrix, How It's Done. So I really I think kanang I would want to start a party with a hype song, but like with a bang ganit diretso mo start. So
That's a
okay.
good
How about you,
idea.
Kaizo?
Those are good songs. Kaizo?
You know the song Doja by Central C? How can I be
Okay.
homophobic?
Central C, Central
yes,
C.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like that song because it really gets the crowd going. Yeah, that's what I play a lot.
Doja.
I'd dance
Okay.
with that.
Napunto ka tong ganang katong na alak pa. What kind of song is that?
All I do is win.
Ah,
win,
yeah.
win.
Yeah, that's a good song too. What about you, Jiggy? What's Jiggy's number one song? Party starter nga song.
Well, if I was going to do the party 20 years ago, I'd start with this. This is a song from a brand called Doom's Night. It's called Azidu da Bass. It used to be a dance floor burner back in the 90s at Zero Below. I'd started with that. This was 30, 40 years ago. But if I started a party now, I'd do HOTTOGO Hot to Go from Chapel Roan. That's how it started if I did
That's
it
a good one
today.
too. That's a good one too.
So that's what I do.
Everyone gets engaged.
How about you, Hillary?
I already
I already
said
did.
mine, but I think I would add like beggin'. It's a note. Beggin', beggin' you. Yeah. It's actually a popular battle song na nowadays sa mga dance battles. So yeah, I think I'd add that.
I
song.
love that. So before we let you go, Kaizo, where can they find you if they want to book an event, party with you as a DJ, and if they want to catch you perform live in one of the clubs in Cebu, where can they find you as well? So tell us your socials and the parties that you'll be hosting or you'll be performing in the coming days, maybe this weekend. Go ahead.
Okay. So you can reach out to me at my Instagram, Kaizo_Sekong, and then I have I have an upcoming gig this Saturday, the one I mentioned, the sober party, Daylight Groove. It's gonna be at Lin Cafe, so it's gonna happen this Saturday. So yeah, drop by if you can. And
How do you spell Lin?
LYNN.
So it's a cafe.
Yeah.
And are there tickets? Is there like
Oh, yeah. 250 for the registration, and then walk-in is 300.
And are there limited tickets? Because is it like a small venue? What's the capacity of the place? I've never been to that place. Is it similar to kaning Tago or no? Is it bigger?
It's a bit smaller.
Okay.
Yeah. The capacity size, I would say, is like 100.
Okay. So you better be there, guys, so that you can have seats, right? So
Post
kundi
it on your Instagram.
so kung dili ka makalingkod, magunsa magtindog-tindog lang ka.
Tindog-tindog.
But there's like a bar ba there? Like a kind of a counter?
Yeah, counter. Yeah. there
Okay,
is.
can't wait.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, our good friend, DJ Kiezo Se Kong, who's performing this weekend at Lin Cafe. Do you have like a regular schedule at Central, or you perform there every now and then, but not a specific schedule?
Yeah, every now and then.
Every
I get
now and then.
Invites in.
Okay, so can't wait for you to perform also at the Central and other venues. I hope to see you there, and I look for you. And make sure you don't play Buttercup for us, okay?
Thank you for having me.
Okay, labayan mo na ako tamatis. Kung namin yung tamatis. Thank you so much, guys. And you guys have a great weekend, and let's party this weekend, right? Here on 105.1 TMC.
Hopefully manligid ta, charis.
Yes, and before we let you go, we have our word of the day, our second word of the day. Listen.
105.1 TMC, the most Cebu, brings you the word of the day.
So atong word karon kay urset. A slang word for upset or being annoyed at something. Example, maka-urset maning trapika, uy. Grabe na akong ka-urset ay.
105.1 TMC has just brought you the word of the day.
Hey, this is Jericho Strigan. Thanks for supporting local music, and please keep supporting local by listening to 105.1 TMC, the most Cebu music.